Nobody wants to hear this, but the reason your life hasn't changed isn't because you're not manifesting hard enough. It's because you keep skipping the one thing that actually works. And it's so boring, so unremarkable, that most people scroll right past it, looking for something more exciting. If you've read the books, said the affirmations, done the visualizations, and you're still watching the same relationship patterns, the same money patterns, the same confidence crashes show up on repeat, stay with me. Because by the end of this video, you're going to understand the one mechanism underneath all of it. Not a hack, not a ritual. Something you're already doing all day, every day, without realizing it's the exact thing deciding what shows up in your life. Here it is, in one sentence, and then we'll spend the rest of this video unpacking it. Whatever you identify with becomes your reality. Not whatever you think, not whatever crosses your mind, whatever you identify with. You have thousands of thoughts a day. Random ones, negative ones, thoughts about being broke, being unlovable, being behind in life. Here's what almost nobody tells you. A thought passing through your mind costs you nothing. It has no power on its own. A thought only becomes your reality the moment you identify with it, the moment you attach I am to it, or treat it as a fact about who you are instead of just noise passing through. I'm never going to get this right is a thought. I am someone who never gets things right is an identity. The first one evaporates in seconds if you let it. The second one starts showing up in your bank account, your relationships, your mirror. This is why willpower-based manifestation fails so often. People try to fight the negative thought, argue with it, suppress it, replace it with 10 affirmations to cancel it out. But fighting a thought is a form of identifying with it. You're still treating it as something that needs your attention, your energy, your defense. The boring, unglamorous skill that actually works is not that dramatic at all. Let the thought pass without picking it up. Don't argue with it. Don't defend against it. Just don't claim it as yours, and it moves on like weather. So what does that actually look like in the moment? It's smaller than you'd expect. The next time a thought like that shows up, just name it as a thought, literally, even silently. There's that thought again. Not I am broke, just there's the broke thought. That one shift from being the thought to noticing the thought is the entire technique. You're not fighting it. You're not fixing it. You're just refusing to sign your name at the bottom of it. Do that enough times and it stops showing up with the same weight because it's not getting fed. If that distinction already clicked for you, drop a like right now. It tells me you're ready for how this actually plays out day to day. And that's exactly what's coming next. Take money. You check your account and the thought shows up. Ugh, there's barely anything in here. That thought, on its own, changes nothing. It's just a reaction to a number. But the second you sigh and think, of course, I'm always going to be broke. Now you've identified with it. You've turned a passing reaction into a self-concept, and your subconscious mind goes to work finding evidence to prove that self-concept true, because that's its only job. It doesn't decide what's good for you. It just builds a world that matches whatever you've claimed as I am. When you notice the scarcity thought, let it pass without agreeing with it, and quietly step into the version of you that's already in control. The one who checks the number, makes a plan, and moves. That's the boring rep that actually moves the number. Not the one big affirmation session. The 100 small refusals to claim the negative thought as identity. Take relationships. A thought comes up mid-argument. I always get abandoned. If you identify with it, if you start narrating your whole history through that lens, you'll unconsciously act in ways that make abandonment more likely, because you're now performing the identity, not just having a passing thought. But if you notice the thought, let it be just a thought having a rough moment, and don't build a self out of it. It has nowhere to go. It doesn't get to write the next chapter. Here's the piece I promised earlier, the actual mechanism behind why this works. Your subconscious mind can't process a thought that isn't claimed. Identification is the doorway. I think is neutral. I am is instruction. Every time you say, even silently, I am someone who. You're handing your subconscious a blueprint, and it starts building. The negative thoughts were never the threat. Your agreement with them was. And here's the part that makes this more than just damage control. That same doorway works both ways. If identification is what gives a thought power, then the same move that lets go of, I am broke, is available for, I am someone money comes easily to. The desired version of you isn't something you have to force or prove. You just have to stop reserving your identification for the version you don't want and start spending it, on purpose, on the version you do. Releasing the old thought clears the space. Deliberately claiming the new one is what actually fills it. Quick reality check, because I don't want to oversell this. This isn't about never having a negative thought again. You will have them, constantly. The goal was never a thought-free existence. It's catching the moment you're about to identify with one and simply not signing your name to it. That catch is quiet. It just feels like nothing happened. And that's exactly why people miss it. The moment it's working, it doesn't feel like anything at all. There's one more place this shows up that almost nobody names directly, and it's self-worth in general. The quiet, background sense of whether you deserve the things you're trying to manifest in the first place. A thought crosses your mind. I'm too much, or I'm not the kind of person things work out for. On its own, that thought is nothing. But the moment you nod along with it, the moment it becomes, that's just who I am, you've quietly built the ceiling you'll spend the rest of your life trying to manifest past. Some people can say all the right affirmations about deserving abundance and still sabotage it the second it shows up. Because underneath the words, they're still identifying with the older, unworthy version every time that thought passes through unchallenged. You fix this the same boring way as everything else here. You notice the thought, you don't sign your name to it, and you let it keep moving. I want to ask you something, because I think this is where most of us actually get caught. What's a negative thought you've been identifying with without even noticing? One you've quietly turned into an I am instead of just letting it pass. Drop it in the comments. I'm genuinely curious how many of us are running the same script on autopilot. So here's where this leaves us. Your reality isn't being built by your thoughts. It's being built by which thoughts you identify with and which ones you let pass without claiming. The negative thought was never the enemy. Your agreement with it was doing all the work. Let it come, let it pass, and keep your identity pointed at the reality you actually want. That's the whole practice. It's not exciting, it won't make a good highlight reel, and most days it'll feel like nothing is happening at all. But underneath, it's the one thing that's actually building the life you keep trying to manifest. If you want the whole thing in 3 steps, here it is. Notice the thought without flinching. Don't claim it as I am, and redirect your attention to the identity you're actually trying to build. That's it. That's the entire practice. And you can start with the very next negative thought that shows up today. If this gave you some clarity, send it to someone who's stuck arguing with their own thoughts instead of just letting them pass. It might be exactly what they need today. If this video helped you, make sure to like it. And don't forget to subscribe. In the upcoming videos, we'll go deeper into how to actually change your identity across different areas of your life.